Evan, thanks for that.
Now the time is 19 minutes past 6.
Our top story tonight. The woman who says she saw Madeleine McCann being carried away breaks her silence.
And coming up, one game away from glory. Can Scotland conquer world champions Italy for a place in Euro 2008?
In Wales today, it's Wales versus England in the Heineken Cup this weekend. And it all gets underway tonight with the Ospreys taking on Gloucester.
The men don't grill people, newscasters do. If you don't know,
and the Wales Today team's news wrap for children in need.
The best, live in Cardiff, born in...
Now, if the Wii Games console is top of your Christmas list this year, then we're afraid you might be a bit disappointed.
Yes, because the high street retailers are struggling to keep up with demand, and the manufacturer Nintendo is warning they may be in short supply. Here's Hugh Pym.
The Wii, launched a year ago, was supposed to get Nintendo back into the gaming game, to hit back against Sony's PlayStation range and the other big rival, the Microsoft Xbox. Things haven't quite gone according to plan.
The problem is that out on the high streets it's almost impossible to get hold of a Wii, and it's been like that for months. Here at the biggest outlet of one of Britain's leading games retailers, they had a small delivery this morning, but the stock was snapped up within minutes.
It's frustrating as a retailer. You want to be able to sell as many as you can and sort of cater to your customers' needs, but I think customers understand there's massive demand and they're working with us. We're trying our best to make sure that we can secure as much supply as possible.
A Nintendo spokesman said that global demand had been unprecedented and higher than could ever have been anticipated.
Well, I'm able to play with a version bought a few months back, but with some gamers left frustrated because they can't get hold of one. The question is whether the company's image will be dented. We've had some emails. Michelle in Cooper says, "I'm angry that Nintendo have failed to plan for Christmas demand. I wouldn't buy one on principle now," says Sean in Port Talbot. And Amanda in Buxton says, "I've been trying to get a Wii for a month as a present for my boyfriend. He's going to be very disappointed." But my colleague Steve Rosenberg has discovered that where he is, it's a different ballgame.
Look at this, a Nintendo Wii, in stock, on sale, in a toy shop. No one queuing up for it, no one trying to grab the remote control from me. It sounds too good to be true, doesn't it? Well, this isn't Britain, it's Berlin. And with more than a month to go before Christmas, there are still plenty of Wii consoles on sale in the shops here. Maybe that's because Germans are a little more cautious about their money. Maybe it's because people don't get their Christmas bonuses at work until the end of November. So, if you really want a Nintendo Wii, you can either come here to Berlin to buy one. That'll take you at least 11 hours by car from Britain, or 90 minutes by plane. Or you could try ordering one on a German internet shopping site. Now, recently, some of these sites have stopped selling and supplying the Wii consoles to Britain. But today, surfing the net, we found some German web shops that were still prepared to sell to Britain.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Elsewhere, rivals are rubbing their hands. Sony says it's doubled weekly PlayStation 3 sales in the US. The boss said it's a little fortuitous that the Wii is running out of hardware. Hugh Pym, BBC News.
A 52-year-old man has been remanded in custody for psychiatric reports after admitting he carried out a blackmail and bomb hoax campaign against Tesco. The supermarket chain closed several stores in July last year after receiving threats from Philip McHugh, who's from Clitheroe in Lancashire.
Cyclist Peter Messon, seen here in the middle, has been given a suspended sentence for killing a pedestrian he knocked over on a pavement in a Cornish village. Messon, who has learning difficulties, was doing 25 miles an hour.
A powerful cyclone has battered Bangladesh, killing more than 600 people, but it's feared that figure could rise. The country's coastal strip has been hardest hit by the winds, which reached 150 miles an hour. Some villages have been completely flattened. From the Bangladeshi capital Dhaka, Mark Dummett reports.
Strong winds and a raging sea slammed into Bangladesh's southern coastline last night. The cyclone roared in off the Bay of Bengal, then tore inland. This was the most ferocious storm for years. Fortunately, millions of people had enough time to move to safer ground or into purpose-built storm shelters. But not everyone was so lucky or heeded the warnings, and links have yet to be established to all the affected villages.
Even here in Dhaka, 300 kilometres inland, the cyclone packed a real punch. And just up this road is the international airport. Flights there have been suspended because of the high winds. And throughout all of Bangladesh, the electricity grid has been put out of action.
Bangladesh has learnt the hard way how to cope with such disasters. Weaker storms in previous decades killed many more people. Relief agencies and rescue teams have already been deployed. But even though most people survived, the loss of their homes and property will come as a bitter blow to millions. Mark Dummett, BBC News, Dhaka.
Now they've beaten the French twice. Now just one team stands between Scotland and a place in the Euro 2008 finals. But that team happens to be the world champions, Italy. Tomorrow's game at Hampden Park will be one of the biggest in Scotland's history, as Lorna Gordon reports.
Looking determined, this is the Scottish squad which will be taking on the Italians. Scotland has been fighting it out in arguably the hardest qualifying group. Few thought they would get this far, and the players are already being viewed as heroes.
Nobody gave us a prayer to be in this position. And now that we're in it, everybody expects us to win and take care of it against the world champions. That's the expectation levels out there.
The teams chosen but not yet announced, and there's intense interest in what tactics will be followed.
Ali McLeish says even if there are setbacks early on in tomorrow's crucial final game, his team will not bottle it. He's confident the players will give the performances of their lives. Last time the two teams met, it was a 2-0 victory for the world champions, but Italy have never beaten Scotland at Hampden, and the home side will be hoping that record continues. As ever, the Tartan army, already massing, will be out in force. But the team has also captured the support of the nation with their remarkable journey so far.
At home at Hampden, we're unbeatable. We've not been beat this campaign, and I don't think Italy will be the first to do it either.
Tartan army, 52,000 folk, 2-0.
A win tomorrow will guarantee Scotland qualification for next summer's finals. The fans are daring to dream. Lorna Gordon, BBC News, Glasgow.
Meanwhile, England's chances of qualifying for next summer's finals rest with Israel. If they fail to beat Russia tomorrow, England will be out. England play Austria tonight in a friendly, but all eyes are going to be on that game in Tel Aviv tomorrow. Confident Steve McLaren says he fully expects England to reach Euro 2008.
Now here's the weather with Alex Deakin, and Alex, no doubt a cold night in store for those footballers in Austria.
Definitely, could be some snow in the air as well, Dermot. No snow for us, but it's pretty chilly out there once more. Maybe not quite as frosty as it was last night, but it will still be on the chilly side. For most, it's looking like a dry night. There is some rain across South Wales, southwest England at the moment. That will tend to fizzle out slowly through the night. Wet weather will push gradually back towards northwest Scotland, but for most, it is dry. Where the skies are clear, particularly across central and eastern parts of England, that's where we will see a frost. Temperatures just about dropping down below freezing. 1 or 2 patches of mist and fog too. A milder night further north, where we've got that cloud and rain slowly pushing in, and it will be a bit of a wet day in western Scotland and Northern Ireland. Further south, I think the frost will lift, any fog will clear, and for most of England and Wales it should be a dry and bright day with some good spells of sunshine, but it will be clouding over across the northwest, and as I mentioned, it won't be too pleasant in Northern Ireland. It's turning wet and windy here. A wet day, I think, in Glasgow. It could be pretty soggy at Hampden for the Scotland-Italy game. Gradually, the northwest of Scotland may dry up later in the day. The rain may not get to Aberdeenshire until quite late on, and it may not reach the borders until the middle of the afternoon. But also that rain pushing into the far northwest of England. For most of England and Wales, though, it has to be said, it should be a dry and a bright day. Maybe a little bit of cloud and some patchy rain coming in off the south coast. But generally across England, touch milder than it has been, 9 or 10 the high. Probably a brighter day down across southwest England. Disappointingly cloudy here today. A bit more sunshine tomorrow, but it will cloud over again in the afternoon, and cloud and rain pushing into the north and the west coast of Wales. Now, the rain likes to get heavier during Sunday. Could be a real stinker across central and eastern areas on Sunday. Heavy rain and cold enough even for a little bit of snow, especially up over the hills. Turning a little bit drier further west. But all change for the weekend. It will be turning much wetter, but a dry evening for me and Pudsey.
OK, Alex, thank you very much.
Now, a reminder of tonight's main news. A friend of the McCanns has spoken for the first time, claiming she saw Madeleine McCann being carried away.
And a second body has been discovered in the garden of a house in Margate. Police say it is a significant development.
That's it from us. Do stay with us, though. It's time to join the BBC's news teams where you are. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Good evening. Welcome to Wales Today. I'm Lucy Owen.
And I'm Jason Mohammed. Tonight's top stories.
He lit up our lives. Tributes are paid to the student murdered on a night out in Liverpool. Clyde's pacifist traditions. After the protests, should they fight military Top Gun development?
And we'll be hearing how poached Welsh salmon could be a dish that lands you in court.
And also tonight, an American fighter plane which crashed off the Welsh coast. 65 years on, the sea gives up its secret. It's Wales v England in the Heineken Cup this weekend, and it all gets underway tonight with the Ospreys taking on Gloucester. And Lucy, I know it's children in need, but what on earth have you been up to?
I know. Take a look at this.
Now, my name's Lucy O, and I read the news. Mess with me and you'll get a bruise.
It's the Wales Today News Wrap. Find out how rehearsals are going with Goldie Looking Chain for our big night tonight. So plenty more about children in need to come this evening.
I'm looking forward to your wrap. And of course, Wales are in football action tomorrow. I'll have the very latest on the build-up.
But first, counselling is being offered to friends of the murdered student Sean Hardy. The 24-year-old from Bangor was on his way back to his university accommodation in Liverpool when he was attacked. A post-mortem examination has revealed tonight that he died from trauma to the neck and upper body. Police believe he may have known his killer. 4 men are still being questioned.
The family home where Sean Hardy returned during his university holidays was full of visitors paying their respects and comforting his parents and sister today. Neighbours remember the 24-year-old as friendly and outgoing.
Oh, well, everybody's in shock here, yeah, definitely. Because he was quite well known, you know, and the mother's quite well known. She works in a hospital and she's not well, so herself, you know. Terrible, honestly.
Sean Hardy had been to this city centre nightclub with friends, but had become involved in an argument and was attacked whilst leaving. Detectives say he may have known the person who assaulted him. 4 men from Liverpool remain in police custody. Officers have been granted more time to question one of them, who's from the Aigburth area of the city. Sean Hardy was part of a well-known family in Gwynedd. His uncle Dafydd runs a firm of estate agents, and another uncle, John Hardy, is a broadcaster. Relatives released a statement which said Sean lived life to the full and lit up the lives of those who knew him. This is Sean Hardy's page on a social networking website, and it's clear from the dozens of messages that have come in over the last day or so just how popular he was. Some of the messages read, "You were one of the nicest people I've ever met, and I'll miss you so, so much." The University of Liverpool is offering support and counselling to Sean's friends and colleagues. When he was back home, he worked for the planning department of Anglesey County Council. Staff there said he was happy, jolly and conscientious. Well, Ben Gray is president of the National Union of Students in Wales, and he's in our Bangor newsroom for us tonight. Good evening. This is an awful case. Do you think attacks on students are on the rise?
Well, certainly attacks of this nature are very rare, and of course our thoughts go out to Sean's family and friends at this time. We have cases coming into welfare centres across student unions in Wales of this nature in terms of students attacking other students on the odd occasion, but certainly this is a very rare occurrence.
Do you hear many incidents of other kinds of attacks on students? What kind of incidents?
Well, obviously there is there's a variety of types of attacks that can happen on students. We run campaigns around sort of sexual health and also guarding against rape, as well as obviously making sure that you're keeping to safer streets and keeping with friends and not having too much to drink. And we coordinate those campaigns with local student unions and try and make students aware of the dangers that are out there when they're going on nights out.
So can you just recap on that advice that you would give to students to stay safe?
Basically, when you're on a night out, try and stick with your friends. If you notice a friend who's in trouble, any student, even if you're not, say, close friends with them, please go and, you know, talk to them and keep an eye out for each other. Try and keep to sort of lit streets and make sure that you're going to places where other students are. And obviously, we would advise people to not drink too much as well. Not that I'm saying that has anything to do with the case in hand, but certainly that is the message we try to give to students.
Ben Grove, the NUS, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Now it seems battle lines are being drawn between at least some sections of Plaid Cymru and their political opponents over support for the new military academy at St Athan in the Vale of Glamorgan. The base would bring thousands of jobs, but Plaid Cymru's Vice President Jill Evans is questioning whether her party should have supported the academy. She says it isn't in line with Plaid's policies. John Stevenson reports.
Now an unimposing caravan site on the Llyn Peninsula, the name Penyberth is associated with one of the most turbulent events in modern Welsh political history. 71 years ago, 3 members of Plaid Cymru were jailed for an arson attack on a military training camp being built on this site. The late party leader, Gwynfor Evans, was an avowed pacifist. Pacifism has never been official Plaid Cymru policy, but for many in the leadership and in the party's rank and file, pacifism is and remains their call to arms. 70 years on, Wales is to have another military training camp, this time in St Athan, in the Vale of Glamorgan. Supporters say that it'll create 6,000 new jobs.
The last thing in the world we want now are people to start questioning this project. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this. It's not just the thousands of jobs that will be created, the billions of pounds that will be invested. It's the nature of the skills that are going to be trained here.
Plaid Cymru's Vice President Jill Evans has serious reservations. The project doesn't accord with Plaid Cymru policy or with the strong pacifist tradition within the party. There's been no discussion on the military aspects of the project within Plaid Cymru, and that there should be an investigation into the project's links with the international arms trade. Finally, she argues that an independent Wales would not be a member of NATO.
Wales has provided some of the best soldiers that the armed forces of the United Kingdom have ever seen, and some of the best regiments. If that shows militarisation in Wales, I have to say you've had it for a long time, lady.
I think it's completely irresponsible for Plaid Cymru, a party now of government in Cardiff Bay and in the council cabinet in the Vale of Glamorgan, to come out with some sort of statements like this. It may well be okay for way-off think tanks to come out and propose such ludicrous policies, but this is Plaid Cymru's official policy. It's what David Iwan has said before.
It isn't known yet whether or not Jill Evans' paper will go to the vote at tomorrow's meeting. But there's no doubt that what she says about St Athan and the whole question of militarism will prompt a lively debate at the party's National Council in Aberystwyth tomorrow.
To other news, 150 jobs are set to go at a door-making company at Nantgarw near Caerphilly. Thermotru UK says despite cutting costs over the last year, it's losing money and isn't viable in the long term. There'll now be a 90-day consultation period. Reg Keys, the father of a military police officer murdered in Iraq, will ask the European Court of Human Rights for a new inquiry into his son's death. 20-year-old Lance Corporal Thomas Keys from Llanuwchllyn near Bala was one of 6 redcaps killed by a mob in southern Iraq 4 years ago. A man shot in the stomach by police after he threatened to kill officers has been jailed for 2 years. Brynley Watkins of Rassau near Ebervale was said to have been consumed by alcohol and grief when he threatened officers the day after his mother's death. Now, house prices are expected to stall next year, and Wales is one area where they could start to slide. Well, that's according to a report out today from the Nationwide Building Society. It's predicting a significant slowdown in the market, but says there'll be large regional variations. Well, I'm joined now by Tony Felici from the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors. Tony, this is all very confusing, isn't it? We seem to hear lots of conflicting reports, don't we? So what do you make of this?
It all depends really which part of the country you're residing and also which institution's providing the prediction, because it's all down to confidence in each particular region. What we're finding in Cardiff at the moment is a situation where buyers are nervous. They feel that possibly interest rates may go up. they feel prices may fall. So with that hesitation, you have a situation where they're holding back, they're sitting on their hands. Vendors are nervous as well, whether to put their house on the market, will they get the price they would like? And with the new laws with Home Information Pack, you have a situation where everybody seems to be stalling.
So, in a nutshell, what will be your advice? Should we buy now or wait?
I think from a point of trying to predict what's going to happen over the next 3 months, we're very buoyant as a business. We feel that the interest rates will not be going up. They've remained static for the last 2 months. Prices have levelled off. It is a good time to buy. And there's no reason why, from a point of purchasing, that you don't buy your best investment now.
So a good time to buy, you say. What about if you're selling?
Same situation. I think what vendors have to take into account is that we've had 4 years of very good growth in the market, and that expectations may be higher than the true values are, but do speak to qualified estate agents to get the true values. Don't set your expectations too high.
Very good advice. Tony Felici of the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors, thanks very much for joining us tonight. Now, take a look at this remarkable photograph. It's of an American P-38 Lightning fighter plane, which crashed in the sea off the Welsh coast 65 years ago. For most of that time, it's been covered by sand. But now, the tides have revealed it again, and efforts are to be made to recover it. Here's Roger Pinney.
A fighter bomber with a top speed of more than 350 miles per hour, the P-38 Lightning was one of the most advanced aircraft of its day. At the outbreak of the Second World War, there was nothing like it. Thousands were built, few exist today. Now there's this one, lying in sand off the Gwynedd coast. It's been hidden for decades. The tides have revealed it again. Enthusiasts are calling it the Maid of Harlech.
It's actually below low water, so it's very rarely visible. Even on the lowest tide, it's still underwater.
Military historian Matt Rimmer was in the team which surveyed the wreck. Now there are moves to first protect it from trophy hunters, then recover it. An international team of experts will be working with local archaeologists.
There's never been a find in UK waters, or in the UK for that matter, of a fighter aircraft from that period this well preserved. There have been other aircraft recovered, such as the Wellington bomber from Loch Ness, which has now been restored for static display. But certainly, of its type, this is unique.
Obviously, we can't protect it against nature, but we will aim to protect it against people that might visit the site in the hope of taking a part of the aircraft away. But it's important to emphasise that that site is protected under the Protection of Military Remains Act 1986. And it will be an offence for anybody to tamper with the site.
But why Harlech Beach? Well, in 1942, this was an important bomber training area.
The pilot, Robert Elliott, was on a gunnery training exercise out of RAF Llanbedr, which was based on that spit of land behind me. He had problems with his fuel and was forced to ditch in the sea off this beach. Remarkably, he survived the crash.
A few weeks later, he was posted to North Africa. By December, he was dead. Shot down over Tunisia. Robert Elliott's body has never been found. At Harlech, a plane he once flew is no longer missing. It's hoped recovery will take place in the spring. An important piece of history rediscovered.
This is Wales Today. Still to come tonight. Tosh says he's staying as Wales manager as he prepares for the final Euro 2008 match at home against the Republic of Ireland.
And we catch up with world-famous director Ken Russell. Find out why he's making movies with Swansea students.
Just a few months ago, thousands of salmon were freed into the River Taff after pollution almost wiped them out. But now they face a very different threat from poachers.
Yes, today a team of Environment Agency anglers has taken some fish out of the river and transported them to the safety of their hatchery near Brecon, as Nick Pallett reports.
Gone fishing, but for these anglers it's work, not play, that's brought them to the river. A combination of low water levels and low temperatures means salmon here are unable to get upstream to spawn, and confined to these shallow pools, they're vulnerable to poachers. So a rescue operation has been mounted by the Environment Agency.
We're scanning it for a microtag. It doesn't have one, so there's a good chance this is a wild fish.
Some salmon like this are wild Taff salmon. Others will have been bred and released from the Environment Agency's own hatchery near Brecon. Whichever they are, they've made a remarkable journey.
So these fish have been out to sea, they've swum
probably thousands of miles to feeding at sea, and then they've returned to their river of birth. They've managed to come through the barrage, where the fish pass is working well, I'm pleased to say, and they've come up the river to spawn, and right at the end, before they can spawn, these people are actually removing and killing them, and it's a criminal waste.
This tranquil scene appears to be a rural idyll, but in fact it's just half a mile up the Taff from the Millennium Stadium, and it's because it's in such a populated area that poaching is a problem. So a large river salmon like this may look like it's worth a bit of money to some unscrupulous fishermen who could sell it to a hotel or a restaurant. But at this time of year, this fish is totally tasteless, and no self-respecting restaurant would serve it on their menu. Salmon fishing requires a special licence, but in weir pools like this, it's illegal at any time of year. Though some fishermen like Steve Phillips believe that's not something the average angler is aware of.
There is a sign, but it's over 100 yards away from the bridge, which is again is misleading to people, because if you don't know the river 100% and you was walking across a field pathway, therefore you would actually be breaking the law without yourself realising you broke the law.
Covert officers are currently monitoring the riverbank here, and they have the power of arrest.
Last week in the Magistrates Court in Cardiff, 2 individuals were fined and costs totalling £1,000 each. So we will not hesitate to prosecute people who attempt to illegally take fish.
As the Environment Agency continues to try and restock the Taff, next year more young salmon will be released back into the waters. Those fish will then return to the Taff to spawn, and the circle will continue, as long as the poachers can be kept at bay.
And if you've got a story you'd like us to cover, then please do get in touch. We'd love to hear from you. You can email us at wales.today@bbc.co.uk. Let's get some more sport now, Jace.
Thanks, Luce. It's a huge weekend of sport to look forward to, and it all gets underway tonight in the Heineken Cup. The Ospreys take on Gloucester at 8 o'clock, with the English club opening their European campaign with an impressive 32-14 victory over Ulster at Ravenhill last week, while the Ospreys struggled in their win over Bourgoin. And there's English opposition also for the Blues, the Dragons and the Scarlets. It's Wales v England for all our regions in the Heineken Cup, and it all gets underway at Kingsholm tonight as the Ospreys take on Guinness Premiership leaders Gloucester. There's no Shane Williams, he's injured, but Mike Phillips starts at scrum half with Justin Marshall dropping to the bench.
We're really looking forward to going to Kingsholm. We've been to England a number of times in the last few years, and we've been very successful on the road. Our supporters come really enjoy the Jays out, and going to Kingsholm on Friday night is what rugby's all about.
At 1:30 tomorrow afternoon, the Dragons kick off their Heineken Cup home campaign at Rodney Parade against London Irish. As ever, they put in a dogged performance in Perpignan last week, but didn't take their chances.
There's probably about 2 or 3 that went begging last Friday night, and they'll certainly they'll have to be taken this week if we're going to win this game.
It's been a tough week for everybody at Llethley, but the Scarlets now have to concentrate on the Heineken Cup and the visit of holders London Wasps.
It'll be very emotional here Saturday with what's happening on Thursday with Ray, and we'll be up for the game, we'll be ready to play, but we need to play smartly as well as with plenty of passion.
The Blues have won 1 and lost 1 against English opposition this season in the EDF Energy Cup, but they beat Bristol in the Heineken last Sunday, and tomorrow they go to Harlequins.
We're going to have to front up defensively and be very good at set piece before we can even think about playing ourselves. So we know what to expect. They're a very good team. 4
Anglo-Welsh ties then, but this is no cross-border cup. This is top-level European rugby at its very best. Well, Scotland and England are in contention for a place in Euro 2008, but Wales and the Republic of Ireland will be on the beach when the tournament comes around next summer. Both teams are looking to finish in 3rd place behind Germany and the Czech Republic, and they meet at the Millennium Stadium tomorrow. Craig Bellamy is injured, so it's Simon Davis who will wear the captain's armband, and the Fulham midfielder says they owe the fans a good performance after 2 very poor games in Cyprus and San Marino.
We didn't play well. We didn't go out there not to try and play well. It's just sometimes that happens. We'd have 3 good away wins before that, and we went to Cyprus, which is never going to be easy. And they really played well that night. We never really got going, and we lost, and we were all very disappointed. So, tomorrow for ourselves collectively, and obviously for the fans, it's a game that we really want to win.
Good luck to Wales, Luz.
Fingers crossed.
The Irish, meanwhile, have been training at the Millennium Stadium ahead of tomorrow's game. They're without a manager after Steve Staunton was sacked. Former Wigan Athletic boss Paul Jewell has tonight acknowledged his interest in the vacant Republic of Ireland job. Tottenham Hotspur striker Robbie Keane says, like Wales, they're also very disappointed with their qualifying campaign.
We need to, get a bit, pride back into the country, and as for players as well, we need to stand up and be counted. Things haven't gone well for us as well as we'd like to, as a group of players. So we need to regroup and, as I said, hopefully finish the campaign on a positive note rather than a negative note.
Well, they've had a good week in the FA Cup and the Johnstone's Paint Trophy, and tonight in League One, 4th place Swansea City will go back to the top of the table if they beat Huddersfield Town by at least 2 goals at the Liberty Stadium. And you can keep right up to date with the Swans, Wales, and all the Heineken Cup action on BBC Wales television, radio and online. There's live coverage of Wales v the Republic of Ireland on BBC Radio Wales and Radio Cymru.
Now, we've been looking forward to this, haven't you? The stars are out tonight for the BBC's Children in Need. Everything's building up nicely for a fantastic show, all for good causes, and it's starting straight after us.
And what's great about tonight is it's really buzzing in Broadcasting House tonight, where the show is taking place. All sorts of people are coming and going into the building. It's the 28th year we've done it. Last year, you helped us raise £2.5 million in Wales.
Yeah, so your generosity really, really does make a huge difference.
Did you just see something as you were reading that last link?
No, why?
There's, you know that Scrum 4 lot? The rugby lot?
Oh, them, yes.
They've been threatening to come into the studio and many other studios around the BBC today all day.
Have they? Oh, don't you worry, Jace. They are not getting on Wales today, don't you worry. Trust me, they can stick to their rugby. We're all right. Now, loads of you have already been out and about helping Pudsey the bear. We had a jump-a-thon in the centre of Cardiff to raise money.
That looks very painful, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it does.
I don't fancy that at all. This is more my style. Go-karting for children in need in Haverfordwest. Lovely stuff.
Yes, and the RAF got involved too. There was a half marathon yesterday on the runway at RAF Valley on Anglesey. 100 school children took part in that. Absolutely brilliant. Well done.
Now, come on, Luce. You're doing your bit as well, aren't you? You told us at the top of the programme. What's going on? I want to know.
OK, well, the presenters from Wales today are lending a hand on tonight's show. We're going to do a live rap.
A live rap. What, like Goldie Looking Chain style?
That's it. The very ones.
What about Jamie? Has he got a voice of an angel?
Well, I think we're all as bad as each other, to be perfectly honest. I couldn't possibly comment, but we have been rehearsing hard. Goldie Looking Chain, as you said, the rappers from Newport have been giving us some top tips, so it really should be superb fun tonight.
OK, let's hear a bit.
Now, my name's Lucio and I reads the news. Mess with me and you'll get a bruise. I'm one of the girls on the team in Wales. When it comes to reading news, I never fail.
You can hear me on BBC Wales. My name is Jamie Owen and I'm hard as nails.
What is that? That's not rapping. That's speaking.
How are we going to do this live? I do not know.
Well, let's hear someone who really can sing. He's behind us and he's the presenter tonight of the BBC Children in Need coverage. A very good evening to Aled Jones.
Hey, how are you?
What did you think of our rap, Aled?
I think you're great, but Jamie just sounds like he does on the radio. I'm Jamie Owen in a suit. I'm going to rap like this.
So what are going to be the other highlights of the show tonight, then?
There are so many highlights. Orson are going to be performing live, Elliot Minor. We've also got the cast of Pobl y Cwm doing a turn for us, and the big Welsh challengers are singing Sosban Fach. You don't want to miss that.
Aled, have you heard about these Scrum 5 people who've been trying to get onto every set at BBC Wales today?
Yeah, they've been getting onto radio shows, TV shows, but I can guarantee you they're not going to be on our show tonight. I can definitely guarantee that.
Are you going to tell him, or shall I? They're behind you.
No, I don't believe it. It's not panto season yet, but you do that very well, Luce.
But it really is going to be a really special night, isn't it? It is amazing what people do right across the country, isn't it?
It's phenomenal, you know, and I think people at home in Wales really should just pick up the phone and dial 08457 332233. It goes to such worthwhile causes. And we're going to have a great time. The studio's going to be full of people as well here to enjoy themselves.
OK, Aled, thank you ever so much. Good luck with the programme tonight, and we'll see you later.
I'll see you later. I'm so looking forward to seeing you perform as well.
Yeah, brilliant. They are actually behind you, Aled, honestly.
I don't believe it. They wouldn't dare.
And that number you just saw, For Children in Need, opens at 7 o'clock. Now something a little different. He's a world-famous film director, but now Ken Russell's turning to students in Swansea for a bit of help with his latest project.
Yes, the Academy Award nominees recruited budding actors and filmmakers from Swansea Institute to produce a feature film, and he's got high hopes for the impact it'll have on the city.
OK, music please.
The day is lost.
It's an experience they'll certainly never forget. The Academy Award-nominated director Ken Russell is famous for film classics like Women in Love and the rock opera Tommy. But now he's making a new film and wants these students to help him do it.
It's going to be the greatest spectacle ever seen, made on a shoestring by some inspiring Welsh students and professionals. And it's going to be a wow.
Why will it wow? Well, it's a story about Queen Boudica fighting the Roman invasion. It's lavish, full of fantasy and special effects. Everything is filmed against this green background, but with some pretty snazzy technology. The tape is digitised and I'm transported back to ancient Britain, 47 AD, and the reign of Boudica. It's all done in these state-of-the-art edit suites in the Institute's Creative Industries Research and Innovation Centre. So, with just the click of a button, how it looks is totally transformed. Next door, the actors are being transformed in a rather more conventional way, and there's a buzz in the air. They're just minutes away from their debut in front of Ken Russell.
My name's Rod Thomas, I'm the first assistant director, and of course today I'm also playing a Roman. I think it's a great opportunity for everyone in Swansea to have the legend that is Ken Russell down here.
Jumped at the chance and said yes, and here I am now dressed as a Roman.
Nice to film something in the middle of Swansea, because Swansea isn't very well known. You think down in London, down in God knows where else, but it should be quite fun.
It's all filmed within a week and there's high hopes for the finished piece.
Darling, I'm going to make Swansea the film capital of the world.
Oh, that's great. You might have a part for you, just I could see you as a gladiator.
Well, I dressed up as a gladiator years ago for a piece at the Cullion Amphitheatre.
I think you should dust off your
I
outfit.
make a good Russell Crowe, trust me. Not really. Let's get the weather then for Children in Need Night. How's it looking, Liam?
It's not too bad, Jace. It's not a washout. That's great news for us. So the odd shower there initially tonight, but they should tend to fade away as we go throughout the night. Then we will get some patchy frost and fog forming as the cloud breaks on and off as we go into the early hours of tomorrow morning. Now you can see on the satellite picture we had more cloud around across Wales compared to what we had yesterday, but we have had some sunshine, particularly across northern and eastern parts of the country. Let's zoom in then and see what's in store overnight tonight. Generally, there's a fair amount of cloud around across Wales, the odd spot of rain initially, but the rain will tend to fade away as the night wears on. If we do get some breaks in the cloud, you can just about make out some bits of blue and white. That's the patchy frost and fog forming for the end of the night. And we'll get temperatures down to as low as 1 or 2 where we get the breaks in the cloud, but generally out towards the west a little bit more breeze and temperatures holding up at 6 or 7 degrees Celsius. Let's tour around Wales then to start the weekend. A beautiful start across the south, dry, blue skies and sunshine. Just 1 or 2 patches of fog forming here and there in the morning, but they should disperse fairly readily. Out towards the far northwest then, it's the wind speed, 21 miles per hour already. The wind starting to pick up ahead of a band of rain that will reach northern and western parts as we go throughout the day. But a bright start further south in Haverfordwest with the starting temperature of 8 degrees. So tomorrow morning, not a bad start across Wales. The fog patches will clear away, then it's a dry morning, some decent spells of sunshine, but the wind will freshen for the latter part of the day, and that'll introduce some rain along northern and western coasts for Rhyl, Porthlelly, Dolgellau, down towards the coast of Pembrokeshire and Carmarthenshire, but the far southeast should just about stay dry, and temperatures, well, a little less cold tomorrow, 9 in the east, that's 48 Fahrenheit, 10 or 11 as you head out towards the west. Now that rain slides southwards on Saturday night, so a grey and a wet start to the day on Sunday, but hopefully through the day things should start to improve. The skies will brighten, some sunshine starting to push in, and highs of 8 or 9 degrees Celsius, but it will stay very unsettled into the start of next week. Have a good weekend. Back to you two.
Liam, thank you very much indeed. Like your little waving Pudsey bear in the corner there too. Thank you. And that's it. Don't forget, Children in Need starts right after the news. Let's hope Wales can raise loads of money this year.
Yeah, good luck with the rap loose.
Thank you very much. Tonight. I'm going to need all the luck in the world.
Fantastic. And don't forget, keep pledging. Enjoy your Children in Need night. We'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.
Join us on Children in Need tonight at 7 p.m. on BBC One.
Well, it's got to be the one to watch tonight, and it's coming up next.
It's a One Extra Breakfast show with me, Trevor Nelson and Zena. These are the records that get us going in the morning.
We want to know what your breakfast is.
I know what tune you want.
I want to see you dip, alright?
Yeah, Mr. Sam.
I want to put your hip, and never ever stop.
And that's it from me, DJ Cameo, One Extra. Till next week, it's all blessed.
This is Cranford, a place of peace.
A new young doctor is coming to live in our midst.
Bachelor. He asked for her hand. Do not force me to choose.
Cranford, Sunday at 9 on BBC One.
One family. 1 year. One unique working life.
There is very little respite and they have huge stamina.
She's very savvy and she makes you feel at ease.
Everybody has enjoyed whatever moment they had.
Probably the toughest job in the world.
A major new 5-part series, Monarchy, the Royal Family at Work. Coming soon to BBC One.
Well, now you're watching BBC One Wales, and as if you needed reminding, welcome to Children in Need.